Okay, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Starfield now on the 7900 XTX again, but this time we're going to be looking at the Intel Core i9-13900K to see if there's any difference. So, one thing I will note, though, that this is a different 7900 XTX than was used before. This is the Red Devil from Power Color, the limited edition. And I am running it in the silent BIOS, but for whatever reason, it doesn't run at reference power limits. So it's actually slightly overclocked, despite being in the silent BIOS mode. But we can see here that, in general, the performance is virtually identical to the way it performs on the 7950X and the 7950X3D. In fact, the 7950X3D, the 3D V-Cache CPUs, from my experience in testing, they don't seem to benefit this game as much as they do in a lot of other games that are more typical in the way that those games leverage the 3D V-Cache. So this is one of those games where I think the frequency matters ever so slightly more, although the 7800X3D does do well in this title. It does perform a little bit better than all the Ryzen CPUs. It's the best performing Ryzen CPU in this title, but it's not by a large margin. It's only like in single digit, anywhere from 1 to 4% better. But the Intel CPUs, supposedly they can do better, but you'll only ever really notice the Intel CPUs doing better if you're playing at a much lower resolution. So like, for example, if you're at 1080p. But usually 1080p, and we will be looking at 1080p performance in a future video, but we'll be looking at much lower end graphics cards, because I don't believe in using a 7900 XTX nor a 39 or a 4, nor do I believe a 4090 should be used with a 1080p monitor. So this, we're averaging somewhere in the upper 60s, lower 70s, I would say. Just to show the settings, we are running the game at 4K. You can see here with the Ultra preset. And we are in the CPU-heavy city of New Atlantis. And again, we're running the game around anywhere from like 66 to 74. So that's a look at how the game runs on an Intel 13900K. Power limit on the Intel 13900K is enforced. I am running it with the Intel specifications, so the PL1 is limited to 125 watts. That's the reason why you see the power consumption on the CPU is not really going up that high. But it is done. I'm doing that in an attempt to control the temperatures because we are running this on an air cooler. And the game is a CPU-heavy game. But you can see, despite that, we are achieving the same frame rate, same performance that we saw with the 7950X. So I hope you guys found that video useful, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.